The V-Class is a Mercedes like no other, and that's because it's got sliding doors, a cabin you can walk through, and that's because it's an MPV. The V-Class is not a new nameplate in India. It debuted in 2019 and lived a quiet life on the sidelines of Mercedes' ever-expanding sedan and SUV lineup before being discontinued in 2022. 2026 brings in the updated model that's available in India only in full-size extra long wheelbase form. The V's return ties in well with a newfound interest among Indian buyers in luxury MPVs. Toyota sold over 1,000 Wellfires in India in 2025, and that's sure to have got the good folk at Mercedes thinking. Nearly 5.4 meters long and over 1.9 meters wide, the V-Class occupies more road space than any other Mercedes passenger vehicle, save for the Maybach S-Class. The V-Class is colossal, but what it's not is a thing of beauty. To be fair, few MPVs are. The slab-like sides and cliff-face tail give the V-Class classic van proportions, and form strictly follows function. The V's Mercedes-ness is visible up front though. The manner the large headlights flow into a mask that surrounds the massive grille is new age Mercedes, as are the hundreds of tiny logos surrounding the centerpiece three-pointed star. And while this is no performance machine, the AMG line bumper and 18-inch wheels do jazz up the look to some extent. I quite dig the test car's alpine grey paint scheme too. White, black, silver and blue are other paint options. Underneath, it's a monocoque-bodied rear-wheel drive van with air suspension being a new introduction for India. The V-Class's Crorepati clientele would rarely, if ever, sit up front, so let's skip to the seats that they'll be paying the big bucks for, the ones at the back. Getting into the V-Class's cabin is pretty easy. The sliding doors open wide and you also have a grab handle to help your way up. And when you're inside, you will be shocked by the level of space inside. It's literally a corridor between the middle row seats and the ones up front. And you know what? These middle row seats aren't even set all the way back. They can be slid further back, which I'll get to in a bit. The seats themselves are also very comfortable. They offer large size, very well upholstered, nice cushioning, and you also get these lovely headrests, something which we've seen on the S-Class and E-Class as well. The seats also get you functions such as heating and ventilation, and there's also a massage feature, although you can only control the level of intensity but not the kinds of massages. I'll still take that. The seats also pack in powered backrest adjust, powered headrest adjust, and also a fold-out leg rest. For the full effect, you'll want to push your seat all the way back and really stretch out. But when you want to do that, you'll realize fore and aft movement is manual. Pushing and pulling the seat requires real might, so you'd be best off just having it set way back. Now get a sense of the space that you get in the middle row of a V-Class, and now we can also recline it. Not a bad way to travel around, is it? But when you're done daydreaming in the back of your V-Class, you will notice some things which could have been better. For instance, there's no sunroof. Now, when you're reclined like this, it would have really given you a lovely view of the world above, but that's not an option. You also do get window shades for these large windows, but they're not powered, they're manual, something you would expect in a luxury MPV of this price band. And then finally, there's really nothing much to do at the back here. There are no rear entertainment screens, no rear seat entertainment package, and all you get is a wireless charging pad. And then there's the fact that there's no tablet, so even adjustments, for instance, for the climate control system will require you to reach out all the way up to the controller on the roof, and that is inconvenient. Also missing is a fold-out table, which is another luxury MPV essential not part of the package on the V. A thing to bring in, the V-Class can be specified in 3 seating configurations. There's this 3-row 6-seat version with all front-facing seats. You could also opt for a conference-style arrangement where the middle row chairs face rearwards, creating a meeting room of sorts on the move. If it'll just be you and one other passenger at the back, there's the option of a 2-row 4-seat layout that drops the third row altogether, creating banquet hall levels of space inside. The third row isn't a bad place to be. In fact, members of your entourage will take rather well to the V-Class. Access to the third row is convenient enough via the passage between the doorsill and middle seats, and space at the very back is immense. Now this is a very lavish space as third rows go. Now the second row is set to a position in which someone of my size can sit cross-legged, and just check out the room I have at the back. I am very well catered to on knee room. Lots of headroom as well, and these large windows really make it feel like an airy space. Versions with cream upholstery will feel airier still. These individual seats at the back themselves are comfortable. You get adjustable armrests, which is a nice touch, and Mercedes has also done well to include seat ventilation and massage for these third row chairs as well. A cool and much needed inclusion is a voice amplification system that uses microphones to pick up conversations up front and relays them through the speakers for easy listening across all rows. The backrests also adjust for recline. These large windows get sunshades. Again, they're manual, not powered, and you also get dedicated vents on the roof for the third row of passengers. There's a cup holder, and the speaker system also extends all the way to the back, so you won't feel like an outsider to the entertainment happening up front. As you can imagine, the V offers a lot of room for luggage. It'll gobble large suitcases with ease, and you can also fold, partially flip, or altogether remove the third row for more room. A low and wide lip makes the task of loading and unloading easy, and a handy feature is an openable rear window that gives quick access to contents inside the luggage bay. You'll be pleased to know your chauffeur is also well catered to up front. Now, because of the rake of the pillars, the way the steering comes into your hands, and of course the way this center console is mounted, there's no mistaking that you're sat in an MPV. But this does feel like an MPV from the house of Mercedes. It is really well put together. I love the use of wood and this metal effect, very generous use of ambient lighting as well to really jazz up this interior. It doesn't look like a utilitarian space in the least. You get crisp digital dials with multiple themes shared with other Mercedes models. The touchscreen is also nice and slick to use. And because this is a slightly older Merc, you still get physical controls for the climate control system, and that is a big plus. Those sat up front won't mind spending long hours in the V-Class, and that's because the front seats are actually very comfortable. You get these adjustable armrests, which are proved to be really handy on long journeys, and the front seats also pack in ventilation and heating. While we're up front, a quirk to bring up is the position of the fuel and DEF filler at the side. You can only access it if you open the passenger door. Now, your typical Mercedes V-Class owner will not want to be seen on this seat, but think of me as your friendly chauffeur, giving you a glimpse of life up front. And first things first, the size. When you get into a V-Class from a smaller vehicle, which is almost natural given how large this thing is, one of the first things that will catch you is just how large it is. When you look back into the rear view mirror, you'll realize there's so much vehicle behind you. You'll be mindful of the V's size in parking lots and grateful for its 360-degree camera. What also needs some planning are U-turns. The turning circle isn't bad, but then you also have to deal with the fact that the rear end is almost in another district. This aside, now on the go, the V-Class actually is pretty easy to drive. You're sat at a nice height. The windshield is really large. Visibility out is largely good. I'd say largely because this A-pillar is quite thick and does create quite a bit of a blind spot. But otherwise, the steering is light. maneuverability is reasonably good as well. So if you're in smooth flowing traffic, really you'll get used to the size pretty quickly. The other worry with a vehicle so large is usually ground clearance. No trouble here. Now the V-Class has enough clearance to clear the largest of speed breakers with ease, but should you need more clearance, the air suspension height can also be raised. And would you believe it, the V-Class also has an off-road mode. Okay, it's not an off-road mode per se in which any of the characteristics of the vehicle change, but you do get an underbody camera, you do get a compass, you do get your incline angles, and it's quite unusual to see in an MPV. There's a sport mode too. And you know what? The V is actually pretty brisk. This V300D's 237 horsepower and 2-litre diesel engine might seem inadequate, but actually propels the big MPV to 100 kph in a respectable 9.74 seconds. Running late for a flight, the V has your back and bags. The diesel engine is more than up to the job. It's got the power. Even with a full load of passengers, it'll keep to cruising speeds very happily. No complaints when it's time to overtake. If I really have to bring up something, it's that the engine does sound a bit gruff when you really press down on the accelerator, but that's just a momentary thing. Once you're done with the overtaking, it's back to its smooth and settled rhythm. The gearbox also well in tune with the engine's characteristics and goes up and down the gears in a very smooth manner. If you ever feel the need to change gears yourself, there's also the option of pedal shifters. For the first time in India, the V is also available with a petrol engine, a 231 horsepower 2-litre turbo petrol unit. As for handling, this is an MPV, so I won't get into high-speed handling manners and all. All that you should know is that it feels confident, sure-footed, and not as roly-poly as you'd expect an MPV to. The big boss at the back will also feel assured with the presence of a driver monitoring system. This little thing on the dashboard is a camera, and it is always studying you. Yep, Big Brother is watching. So it studies your eye movements and checks your gaze, and if it finds that you're looking away from the road, it'll actually flash warnings and get your attention back on track. It is a very important feature on a car like the V-Class that will be used for long distance journeys where it's almost natural to sort of wander in your own thoughts. The safety suite also includes 7 airbags, ESC and ADAS features such as auto emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, blind spot assist and lane keep assist. That's that for the experience up front. What's it like at the back? So, the V-Class's back seat is a great place to catch up on some reading. It gives you some quiet time to reflect on your day, on your business and whatnot. It's also a great place to lounge because of the sheer space that you have. Now, this is a comfortable seating position. I can't think of many cars in which I could sit cross-legged and still have about 1 foot at the very minimum to the seat ahead of me. One thing that takes away from the comfort score on the V-Class is ride quality. Now, it is fine on a smooth tarmac, which we have experienced for much of this shoot, but on anything else, you will feel surface imperfections come through, and when road conditions deteriorate, you will find yourself moving about quite a bit in a V-Class, particularly at the back. Expansion joints, rumblers, all those will make their presence felt in the V-Class's cabin. If you're looking for that sedan-like ride comfort, the V-Class won't give it to you. Priced at 1.4 crore rupees ex-showroom, the V-Class joins what Mercedes calls its TEV or top-end vehicle lineup. Similar money could get you a Mercedes GLS, which is a more enticing proposition in the traditional sense, portraying power and luxury in a way only a large SUV can. The V-Class is a more evolved choice and will appeal to buyers to whom space is the ultimate luxury. The V-Class is a spacecraft in a very literal sense. Thing is, the V-Class isn't the best MPV of the type. It misses many features, ride comfort isn't great, and the van-like body isn't glamorous in the least. A like-priced Toyota Wellfire ticks more of the luxury MPV boxes, even if it's not quite as roomy as the Merc. Maybe my bike needs to have a go at the V to unleash its full luxury potential. Eat some proteins, man.